So for those who already noticed about the ROG Flow Z13, actually the Flow series is more like ROG's experimental 2-in-1 kind of devices. We all know the X13 is like a convertible laptop that is very thin and light. You can change it into 4 different modes, 10 display, or even like in a tablet mode. So now ROG actually went further ahead with this device, the Z13. It is basically what I call it as a Microsoft Surface Pro on steroids. It's a gaming tablet instead of the Microsoft Surface, which is for business or those who want a minimalist design. And clearly you can see it in the design itself. At the back, you got this window to showcase the internal motherboard components on it, and they even got RGBs. And of course, ROG call this, I don't know what they call it on their website, some sort of a retro futuristic design, not too sure. And why is it 06 or OG? But that doesn't matter. Today in this video, it is not really a full review, but more like a personal user experience sharing about the Z13 after using it for like almost 1 month plus now. Okay, I have a few points I want to point out for this Z13. First of all is the form factor itself. As you can see, it is actually a quite compact gaming device, if you want to say so. And just like a Microsoft Surface Pro, you have a kickstand so that you can actually prop it up like this, and the front keyboard goes down in this way, and there you have it. You can also adjust the angle of the kickstand and go up to, I don't know, almost 170 degrees if you want to use it in different angles. I think this is fine. The construction of the hardware is spectacular for ROG. They have good hardware design and manufacturing team. That is excellent. Just that in this case alone, right, I'm not sure if there's any user actually requesting for a tablet, gaming tablet on the Windows platform. Now here's the thing, most of the games on Windows platform, they rely mostly on keyboard and mouse, and occasionally a controller, depending on what game you play. Rarely there's a game that they make dedicated for touchscreens, and most of the time those touchscreen based games are found on mobile or tablet, especially those Android tablets or iPad tablets. So why would anyone need a device like this with a detachable keyboard? And clearly that is how you remove it. From what I can see from their promotional video, ROG promotional video, they're trying to promote a kind of interactive gameplay experience with your friends, so you can just take out the tablet, prop it up, and then connect your controllers to it and then play those multiplayer co-op games together. Much like a Nintendo Switch style, you know, Nintendo Switch used to like promote you can remove the Joy-Con and then play with your friends. So I guess that is what they are trying to go with, a controller-based gameplay experience. One thing rather disappointing, I would say, is they don't have built-in Xbox dongle, and I believe Xbox also provide the dongle as a built-in option, where manufacturers like gaming laptops, they can choose to maybe purchase a license and then get the module installed in it. That would be a better option if you want to promote that kind of gaming situation. But for now, you can only connect the controllers to the Bluetooth on this device. And secondly, I want to talk about the performance of this tablet. You know, ROG is no stranger to high performance components inside their devices. For the Z13, they went all in, literally all in. It can go up to Intel Core i9 12900H, And they even come installed with a dedicated GPU, an RTX 3050 or 3050 Ti. Those are very powerful chips and it can generate quite a lot of heat. And I give ROG, the engineers, they actually managed to design a cooling solution. If you can see here, we can see a few of the vents at the top here. This is where the hot air being exhaust, because when they pull in cold air from the back and then exhaust them. How they do it is basically they design a special vapor chamber cooling solution for both of the chips inside, and they are using the liquid metal thermal compound for both chips as well. So that is the way how they can efficiently cool the device. However, that also leads us to one of the issue whereby when you have all those powerful components inside, it is going to drain the battery very quickly. Imagine, just now what I said, they want to promote that kind of portable mobile gameplay experience, right? That both of those chips, if you try to load them to the maximum, they will easily draw over 100, maybe reaching 103, 105 watts of power draw. And the 56 watt-hour battery, well, for a normal gaming experience, you won't last more than 1 hour. And if you want to use it for normal web browsing and entertainment, maybe you can only get somewhere around 5 hours of battery life out of it. That is not really that good, but technically speaking, you are limited by the form factor of this device. And one bonus point is the included USB PD adapter is a 100 watt. And like I said, if you actually push to the max, this is not supplying enough power and it actually drains the battery. But not everyone push the device to its maximum for a long period of time, so that should be fine. And next up is the keyboard itself. Let's just talk about keyboard. You see, a detachable keyboard, I'm fine with this thing. One thing I really don't like is the treatment of the surface and I don't know the material they want to use on this thing. At the back is like Alcantara soft leather cloth kind of feel to it. I'm not sure if you can see on the camera, we already had accumulated quite a bit of dust around the edges here. This is the very nature of Alcantara surface. It is just a dust magnet. And in the internal part of the keyboard deck is some sort of soft touch, rubbery feel to it. Well, it did feel quite good in the palms. However, I don't think this will last for long, especially when they opt to stick a sticker at the side here. And clearly, when I peel the sticker, they already got the sticker residue. Yeah, it is not good at all, if you can see here. But the good thing is the keyboard travel and the typing feel is really nice. If I just attach to it, everything works magnetically, and then you got RGB. If you like RGB, that's your cup of tea. And typing is fine, I would say. It is not like some of those Surface Pro alike keyboard. Usually they have very hollowish kind of typing experience. Well, it is fine for this. The trackpad is reasonably sized, although it's a smaller one, but it clicks and it works just about nice. If you play games with this keyboard and connect to an external mouse, I think it should be a good experience if you just want to use it in this way. And that brings us to the connectivity. It is quite limited on the Flow Z13. On the left side, you actually got one USB Type-C that supports Thunderbolt 4, and there's this special, what do you call this thing? For this connector, I'm not too sure if ROG has a special name for this, but they made this specially for their XG Mobile external GPU connector. Actually, in fact, this part of it is a standard USB Type-C port. You can still plug in all your Type-C accessories, chargers, and it will still work fine. Just that they combine the proprietary port with the Type-C so that they can connect to the XG Mobile, like the one I have right here. And on the right side, we got one 3.5mm combo audio jack and one USB Type-A port. Unfortunately, whoever in ASUS decided to just give this a USB 2.0 speed. So probably they just assume you are going to connect a mouse to this port and nothing else. Frankly speaking, it won't hurt if they just give us a USB 3 port, right? Flipping the kickstand at the back, you can see there is a small slot right here. It is for a micro SD card. There are 3 different storage options for the Z13, 512GB, 1TB and 2TB. So depending on what kind of storage option, you can always expand using that micro SD card. Okay, now speaking of the storage, you can also upgrade the M.2 drive. There is this special cutout here. You can access to the SSD slot here, but this is not your regular 22x80 SSD. Most of the time you won't be able to upgrade most of the stuff inside there, even though yes, you do have the option for the storage. As for cleaning the components, I mean especially the fans and the heatsink, because dust will accumulate inside there. Unfortunately, it is quite a hassle if you want to open it up, and I won't suggest you to do it if you don't know what you are doing, because this is a very specific device where they build everything together tightly. And yeah, I think that is pretty much what you can do. Basically, what you can actually try is maybe get a compressed air can and then blow it through the vents and hoping all the dust will like just exit out. The next thing I want to comment is about the XG Mobile. If you are our long-time subscribers, you might notice we actually published a video talking about how the XG Mobile can be better. And if you're interested, the link is somewhere there or in the description. Again, like the other Flow series, now this one also supports the XG Mobile, whereby they have this proprietary connector. They just have to plug it into the side here, into the side. And here's the part that is rather weird. This is supposed the front facing, whereby the user facing the device. The connector itself is actually the other way around, because the connector itself has a LED indicator and a locking mechanism to lock it in place. So if you want to plug it, the XG Mobile in this angle, right? Let me just trying to like plug it in. Once you plug it in, then you have to like fiddling around at the back trying to look for the lock, and then you have no idea what is the indicator LED is showing. I mean, is it in white color or some other option? And again, all of our previous comments about the XG Mobile still applies to this generation. In short, the XG Mobile never changed. It is still the same model. It comes with a 3070 or 3080 laptop GPU in it. They haven't updated into 3070 Ti or 3080 Ti. And all the connector woes, whereby when you connect to the laptop, and then you still need to like select accept, I want to connect to the XG Mobile, and then once you keep it connected but you shut down the Windows, and the next time you boot it up without the XG Mobile connected to it, then they will show you a warning asking you, hey, last time you have the XG Mobile connected but now you didn't connect it. Are you willing to accept the risk to boot into the Windows or not?
I got one thing to highlight.
What?
If you disconnect the keyboard and then that menu shows up, what happens?
Anyway, in short, I think ROG need to come up with a better solution or a better UI to deal with all of this. And the reason why they want to use this proprietary connector, because of the double of the PCIe lanes. This is 8 lanes compared to the usual Thunderbolt 4 lanes. However, even with all those lanes provided for the graphics card, the graphics card you are using here is just a normal laptop GPU instead of those full-fledged desktop GPU. Any other Thunderbolt based external GPU, they are using those desktop class GPU and they are only using 4 lanes and they are still working fine. It's a plug and play solution, but this is not as elegant as that. I know all the additional ports on the Extreme Mobile is a good thing, but it just feels like the entire system should have been better. And before we go into a conclusion, here is the number one biggest issue I have with this device: the screen itself. Now, the Z13 has 2 screen options, whether you have a Full HD 120Hz display or a 4K 60Hz. Now, you'll start to see some problem already, right? This is a gaming device with RTX 3050 Ti or 3050. Imagine you try to push your games in 4K resolution. I don't understand why 4K is a thing for a tablet. I know 4K, it looks great, sharp, vivid with, let's say if you just downscale everything to 1080p, you have 4 pixels bin into 1 pixel and everything, all those sharp details. Yes, it looks great, but for a gaming device, what really matters is high refresh rate. Even if you give me 120Hz, it's fine. Especially on a device with 13.4 inch screen size, 1080p doesn't really matter. 120Hz makes more sense. And in Malaysia, I have no idea what happened to the product team. They thought it is a good idea to offer the highest end model, which is the Core i9 3050 Ti with 4K display. And they leave the Full HD display for the mid-tier and low-tier, which is again the Core i7 and 3050 Ti, and perhaps the other one is not sure, but I'll leave the spec list on the screen here. But you get the idea. Full HD 120Hz is only available for the mid-tier and lower tier. And to make things worse, the XG Mobile is only exclusive to the highest end model, which is the Core i9 3050 Ti and a 4K display. And it is not an option for you to purchase separately. Let's say I bought the lowest tier model with i7 and 3050 and Full HD 120Hz display. I want a 3070 XG Mobile or 3080 XG Mobile. No, you cannot purchase it separately. You have to buy the highest end model, which costs, well, the bundle is 17,000 ringgit Malaysia.
What the fuck?
This set right here is 16,999. I kid you not, the second tier is 8,999 and the lowest tier is 7,999. And that brings us to conclusion. Again, I want to ask the same question. Is there anyone in the market is asking for, hey, I want a Windows gaming tablet? I know they are trying to say this is the most powerful gaming tablet, Windows gaming tablet in the market right now. But who in the world is asking for this device? Is there any game that can fully utilize this form factor? Why don't I just purchase the X13, which is equally powerful if they use the same components, and they also supports the XG Mobile, and perhaps that one is cheaper as well. At the end of the day, if you want to enjoy touch-based games, and most of those games are exist on the Android and iOS or iPadOS, then I think you should look into an Android tablet or an iPad. You know, iPad starts from around 1,500 ringgit, and Android tablet you can get cheaper than that, or the Mi Pad 5 is just 1.2K, or sometimes cheaper. They have sales all the time. That pretty much sums up my questions and doubts when I use this device, like why I want this thing. I know ROG is a company that spent a lot of money in R&D, and this is more like a flex device to say, hey, look at our engineering team, we can do this. But for consumers, I think this is not really the best bang for the buck. But if you want something to show off, no problem.